Hey guys, this is Mr. Boyd. Decided to create a little video to help you review before you started your assignment today. So the first problem here, we're going to write this in scientific notation. So we're going to write that as 2.49 times 10 to the fourth power. Next, we're being asked to write 6.71 times 10 to the eighth power in standard form. So I'll start off by writing 6.71 and move that decimal 8 places to the right. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'll stick some zeros in there as placeholders. And so that's 671 million. If light travels 6.71 times 10 to the 8th power miles in 1 hour, how many miles will it travel in 1 minute? Well, there are 60 minutes in an hour, so we need to divide 6.71 times 10 to the 8th power. We're going to divide that by 60. And when we do that, we end up with 0.11 times 10 to the 8th power. And to put it back in scientific notation, we'll need to move that over one place. So that would be 1.1 times 10 to the 7th power. To calculate the distance it takes light to reach the Earth from the Sun, we're going to use the formula distance equals rate or speed times time. So we'll take 8.3 and multiply it by 1.1 times 10 to the 7th power. And when we do that, we end up with 1.1 times 8.3. We end up with 9.13 times 10 to the 7th power. All right, number 3 says a speck of dust in an electron microscope is 1.2 times 10 to the second millimeters wide. The image is 5 times 10 to the second power times larger. So what that means is 5 times 10 to the second power times something, let's call that x, happens to be 1.2 times 10 to the second power. So to figure out what x is, I'm going to divide by 5 times 10 to the second power. So that tells me that that object is 0.24 times 10. Got to subtract my powers to the 0 power. Okay. So the actual size of the dust speck is 0.24 millimeters. Okay, moving on to problem number 4. The SR-71 Blackbird is one of the world's fastest airplanes. It's capable of traveling at a speed of Mach 3, which is 3 times the speed of sound. The speed of sound is approximately 7.6 times 10 to the second power. What is Mach 3? So I need to take 7.6 times 10 to the second power and multiply that by 3. When I do that, I end up with 22.8 times 10 to the second power. However, this is not scientific notation, and I'm being asked to write it in scientific notation. So I need to move that decimal over one more place. That gives me 2.28 times 10 to the third power, and that is miles per hour. Okay, the half-life of uranium-238 is 4.5 times 10 to the 9th years. Half-life of 234 is 2.5 times 10 to the 5th years. How many times greater? Well, to figure out how many times greater, as we talked about, we're going to divide. So I'm going to divide the half-life of 238, 4.5 times 10 to the 9th power, by 2.5 times 10 to the 5th power, which is going to give me, of course, something to the 4th power times 10 to the 4th power, and 4.5 divided by 2.5 turns out to be 1.8. Times greater. Okay. State of Colorado covers 1.04 times 10 to the 5th square miles. The Indian Ocean covers 2.808 times 10 to the 7th. How many times bigger than Colorado is the Indian Ocean? So I'm going to divide the Indian Ocean number, 2.808. So I'm going to divide 2.808 times 10 to the 7th power by 1.04 times 10 to the 5th power. Of course, I'm going to subtract those exponents, so that's going to give me 10 to the 2nd power. And 2.808 divided by 1.04 is 2.7. Or I could say 2,700 times bigger. Okay, moving on to number 7. I see here on number 7, they give us the students at Salt Lake Community College pay this many dollars. We'll circle that because that's important information. Students at George Washington University pay this many dollars. How many times greater is the tuition at George Washington? So again, I'm going to do 4.573 times 10 to the 5th power, and I'm going to divide that by 1.585 times 10 to the 4th power. Subtracting the powers, that's going to give me 10 to the 1st power. Then I'll do 4.573 divided by 1.585, and that gives me 2.89. 2.89, or I could say 29 times larger. Okay, looking at number 8, the population of the United States is 3 times 10 to the 8th, and the population of the world is 7 times 10 to the 9th. Again, we're looking at how many times larger the population of the world is than the U.S. So that's 7 times 10 to the 9th power divided by 3 times 10 to the 8th power. So that's going to give me 10 to the 1st power when I subtract those. 7 divided by 3 is 2.3 repeating. I'm going to go ahead and just round that off to 2.3, or 23 times bigger. Okay. All right, let me scoot on down to the next problem. All right, in 2005, how many times greater than China's population is the population of the world? How many times greater? Okay, China's population, how many times greater than China's population is the world? So we want to divide the world number by China. So to begin this problem, I would need to add all of these numbers here, but I notice that this is a power of 8. So I'm going to rewrite that as 0.3 times 10 to the 9th power, because I need to move that decimal to the left, add 1 to the power. Then I can add these up. So I've got 6.4, 1.3, and 1.1 to add up. So 4, 3 makes 7, plus 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11. Write my 1, carry my 1. 6 plus 1 is 7, 8, 9. So 9.1 times 10 to the 9th is the world population. So I'm going to divide that by China. China's population of 9.1 times 10 to the 9th divided by China's population in 2005, which is 1.3 times 10 to the 9th. And so that's going to give me times 10 to the 0. And 9.1 divided by 1.3 is 7. Or we can just say 7 times. 7 times greater. Okay? How many more people inhabited the earth in 2005 than in 1985? Again, I would have to add this column up. And because we're not asking for how many times, we're asking for how many more. Remember, when we ask for how many more, that turns into a subtraction problem. Okay, guys, I did a little off-camera work and found out that when I added these up, it was 7 times 10 to the 9th power was the population of the world in 1985. And we already know that the population of the world in 2005 is 9.1 times 10 to the 9th. So I just need to subtract 9.1 times 10 to the 9th and 7 times 10 to the 9th. And 9.1 minus 7 is 2.1 times 10 to the 9th power. So there were 2.1 times 10 to the 9th power more people in 2005 than there is in 1985. Okay, guys, I hope that helps. I think you guys can handle the rest of these since they're just writing numbers in scientific notation. Remember, when you're given a number like 1 million, go ahead and write the number out first and then put it in scientific notation. Okay? Hope this helps you guys with your worksheet. Have a great day.